going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the Random Channel. I'm Kevin Duffy, and today I'm coming at you with my review of Transformers 1. I got to see an advanced screening today. I took my two kids. We were all very excited to check this movie out. Full backstory for me, I'm a massive Transformers fan. Ever since I was 3 years old, Transformers was my favorite thing, and it stuck with me forever. I love the 1986 movie. I love the 1980s series. I had all the toys I could get my hands on growing up. I loved Transformers. It's all I talked about, all I played with. Deep-seated love for Transformers in my life, and I'm glad it's something I'm glad I was able to pass on to my kids in a way. They don't love it as much as I did as a kid, but it's something that they love and we love together, so that was pretty cool to be able to go see a brand new animated movie with them today. When this trailer dropped for this movie, I was like, oh, I don't know if it's for me. It seems like it's geared more towards kids, which is, like I said, fine. I have two kids. I knew I'd be able to see it with them, so it was something to look forward to. I think the animated route is the way to go with Transformers movies because the live-action movies have not been that great, and getting away from the human element of those movies and setting it on Cybertron and just living with the Transformers, flushing those characters out, that could only work better than a live-action movie. So the first trailer dropped and I thought, maybe it's not for me. It seems like it's targeted at kids. I was dead wrong. Dead wrong. This movie is 100% made for Transformers fans. It is freaking awesome. It is so awesome. It might be the best Transformers movie ever made. And that might be blasphemy because I know, like, if you're out there like me and you love the 1986 movie, it's like, how could you say that? It's good. It's really good. It's a lot of heart. There is a lot of action. So much action in this movie. So many, just character pop-ins that you see and be like, oh, I know that character. I know that character. I know that character. And it's just cool to see these characters kind of flushed out the way that they should be. This movie does a great job of kind of blending some of the well, let's just say that the Transformers movie has a wide and differing backstory depending on what you're reading. You know, the IDW comics have a bunch of different iterations of stories. The TV series has a different iteration of stories. There have been multiple incarnations of the cartoons and stuff. So the Transformers lore is really wherever you fall, you could find a different set of lore. So they kind of take a bunch of different elements of different stories and smush them together into this to create this backstory for where this Transformers world picks up. And I genuinely really liked it. It's really interesting, and it's not. It was unique, a unique take on it, and it worked for the most part. I would say the only gripe I probably had with it is could have been longer, and I don't mean like it's a short movie. It feels like a full movie. But and this is not a bit major spoiler, but obviously in the confines of this story, you go from Megatron being just a normal character, not necessarily a villain, and making him the Megatron proper, right? And that happens during this movie. The only thing I could say is that I feel like for where the character started, maybe this could have been like a 3-hour movie to get to that point, and it would have felt more. But that's it. That's the only thing. And it's not to say that Brian Tyree Henry didn't do an awesome job emoting Megatron. He did. And for this story, from where it starts to where it ends, you understand why he becomes Megatron. And the best villains have backstories or motives where you're like, you know what, I can kind of see why you do that. I don't know that I wouldn't necessarily make the same choices myself. The only reason that you would say that in the case of Megatron, if you didn't know who he was, is because you have Orion Pax or Optimus Prime there to flesh out the story and show how two stories can start in the same spot and end in different places, right? And Chris Hemsworth, who I didn't know at first, I'm like, it's just Chris Hemsworth. I don't know if I buy that he's Optimus Prime. I don't know if I buy the voice, but by the end of it, god damn it, he got me. I enjoyed it a lot, and I was wondering why they didn't go Peter Cullen, and honestly, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because in order for Transformers to move forward, we do kind of need to step away from some of the elements of the past. Now, I know, again, blasphemy. I'm talking about the greatest voice actor ever. Peter Cullen delivered some of the best voices ever for 80s kids like me. But I gotta tell you, I enjoyed Chris Hemsworth by the end, his voice by the end of this movie, and honestly, I hope this movie gets to have sequels because I want to see more Transformers through animation like this and with these characters moving forward. Because, like I said, there's a lot of heart, there's a lot of compelling narratives for these characters that you follow through with. So I want to see it continue, and I want these people to do their voices again. Alita 1 was voiced by Scarlett Johansson. She did a great job. She's a great compliment to Optimus Prime. Kind of thinks she's smarter than him, which she probably is. Kind of keeps the three other guys she's on the adventure with on their toes. I liked her a lot. She was badass. She was fast. She was cool. I loved her design. I loved all the designs in this movie. They visually are awesome, and they looked really cool, and it was freaking great. Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. Again, another one that I was like, I don't know. It's just going to be Keegan-Michael Key making jokes the whole time. And he does make a lot of jokes, but they're great jokes, and they're funny, and it makes Bumblebee, he's such a likable character anyways. It makes him even more likable. I loved Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. Bring him back too, please. If this gets a sequel, bring him back, please. John Hamm does a voice of Sentinel Prime in this. Now, if you know who Sentinel Prime is, different iterations have him as a different character. Sometimes he's a good guy, sometimes he's a bad guy. I'm not going to spoil where he falls in this movie, but let me just say that John Hamm being cast is perfect. He's perfect. He does such a great job. He hams it up. Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion. Great. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne has the voice for any character. He's so good, such an iconic voice, playing such an iconic character. Again, this is one of the instances where they kind of change the backstory a little bit. Now, if you know who Alpha Trion is, he's one of the original holders of the Matrix of Leadership, one of the original Primes, kind of passes the torch to Optimus Prime in a way. In this story, and this will be slight spoiler territory, he exists in a time where the Primes, there were multiple Primes all living at the same time, and that's a little bit of a change, because the way that I know the lore is that Alpha Trion got the Matrix passed to him, he passed it on to Optimus, that sort of thing. So that's or he might have passed it on to Sentinel Prime, who passed it on to him, but in this story, they've diverged a little bit and taken it so that there were this council of Primes in charge of Cybertron, and due to events of the movie, I mean, you've seen him in the trailers. He's the guy who gives them their sparks or their change engine cogs so they can start transforming and everything like that. Due to events in this movie, the Council of Primes is no longer there, and he was a really great character. I really enjoyed him. Like I said, it takes lore from all over and kind of crushes it together. But this movie was made for Transformers fans. There are just every little bit. I mean, there were things that happened that, like, I turned to my son. I was like, oh, that's that thing. And he's like, Dad, I don't know what the hell that is. And I'm like, oh, shit. God damn it. You're right. Like, there's little elements like that. I loved it. And this will be a slight spoiler, but you've seen it in the trailer, the green alien that like seems to be like grabbing Sentinel Prime in that scene there. That is a Quintesson, and what a fucking cool design for Quintessons. I loved that. I was like, oh shit. And they make them very menacing and very opposing. One of the ways you could go with a sequel to this franchise is the Quintessons still at war with the Autobots, which is kind of a big theme in this movie anyways, but really cool. I really dug their design. I really dug the look of Cybertron. I dug everything they did in this movie, okay? Everything they did in this movie. I hope to God this gets a sequel, because I need this Transformers series to keep going. I don't care if you ever go back to live action again. I'm dead serious. Don't even pick up another one. I know that they're making that G.I. Joe crossover maybe or whatever. Don't do it. Don't do it. This movie is ratings through the roof. I want to see it again. I want to go see it again. And I haven't wanted to see a live Transformers movie again in years. Like, I loved Bumblebee. Bumblebee was the best of the live action Transformers movies. This is better than Bumblebee, and I loved that movie. So I don't know what else to say about this movie, guys. I'm literally smiling about just thinking about how good it is. If you love Transformers, you need to go see Transformers 1. It opens next weekend. I highly recommend you go out and get your tickets now. Go and see this movie. Let's make this a goddamn hit, so that way Hasbro and Paramount, all these companies that can make these movies, continue to make this franchise go forward, because this is the one. This is Transformers 1. No, this is the one that Transformers fans have been waiting for. This is the one that is going to skyrocket Transformers back into the stratosphere where it belongs, in my opinion. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my review of Transformers 1. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more on the podcast this week, and a little bit spoilery, because I don't think any of my boys from the podcast are going to probably go and see this movie, and they probably won't care if I spoil it. So you'll hear my spoiler thoughts then, which will be Wednesday night. But anyways, let me know if you're looking forward to seeing Transformers 1. If you, like me, were able to get to an early access screening of it, let me know what you thought about it. Where does it rank with you in the Transformers movies? And do you hope it gets a sequel like I do? Whatever you think about it, let me know in the comments. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers before the Terrifier 3 comes out, because that's the deal I made with my homies. If we get to 400 subs before that disgusting movie comes out, I will go see it live in theaters, and I really don't want to, but I really want to get to 400 subs. So do us a huge favor. Click that like button. We'll come at you with more content, more reviews, more podcasts this week. See ya. Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you like what you saw here, make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to grow this channel, and every single subscription helps. You know what else helps? Clicking that like button. Click that notification bell. That way, every single time that we drop a new bit of content, you get notified about it. If you like these conversations and you want to see the full unedited versions of them, make sure you go over and check out the Random Things podcast. We go live every Thursday night, and it gets crazy. We'll probably get canceled before we get too big.